So our friends have been and gone, heading home, heading north, like migrating birds. Always reminds me of autumn when they go. And actually, the temperatures after that rain yesterday and the storms we had yesterday are much more comfortable. 19.6 it is out there. What's that? Oh, 15 plus below what it was on one of the hottest days a few days ago. So yeah, last night was a much more comfortable night, much cooler. I think we all slept better. Yeah, so and they've headed off. I'm feeling a bit jaded. It's always the way, you know. I sort of use a lot of energy preparing, but noted that there were things that I hadn't remembered that I might have done in the past when I was better at being a hostess. It was fine. They had everything they needed, but there weren't any bells and whistles. I used to do bells and whistles, and I don't do that anymore. A lot's changed. A lot's changed. I said that a lot's changed since we had the upheaval at the beginning of the year. That I've become less precious about what's where in the kitchen. It's like, as long as it's in the kitchen, I don't care. So I used to get a bit precious about, well, that's not in the right place. That's not where it goes. It goes there. And I don't do that anymore. It's like, oh, it's in the kitchen. That's fine by me. So I don't know. I've let go of something over the last few months. It's quite interesting. We went out last night to the same restaurant we went to with my sister and her husband and daughter. And I hadn't really paid attention when we paid the bill last time, but when we paid the bill last night for 4 people, including half a bottle of wine, it came to €102. So €25 each, which included really lovely food. They had dessert, the three of them, Mark and our friends had dessert. I didn't have dessert. Very lovely food in a beautiful setting overlooking the river and an old bridge. I mean, you know, the view itself, I think, you know, if you went to a restaurant in another country, maybe in the UK or somewhere, that they would be using the view to up their prices. You know, it would become part of their marketing, but they haven't. So it was just over €25 each for a meal, an evening meal, 3-course evening meal. Really nice 3-course evening meal. So yeah, we used to go there years ago. We used to go to that restaurant, and then I don't know, we came disenchanted with it. It felt like the menu wasn't changing, and some of the food was like, well, we had that on the entree, and now it's on my main course. So yeah, but I think it's improved. So that's good. Pleased about that. We were sitting reflecting on Libya this morning. Looks like the death toll there is going to be massive. It's already above 5,000 when I last looked, and they think that once, oh, this is awful, once the tide comes in, it will take it up to 10,000. So then it's just horrific. And we were talking about how these horrific or awful or extreme events are taking place all over the world. Wildfires in Canada, they have wildfires in Australia, they had wildfires on Sicily and in Italy. And somehow Mark was likening it to that I don't know what it is, the thing with the frogs sitting in water that's then, and the pan is on the gas and the water's gradually heating and they're sitting in the water and they don't jump out because the water's only just gradually heating, and so it feels normal. Not, I mean, it wouldn't feel normal for a frog sitting in water, but that's how it's explained. And it feels like that's what's happening with climate change, is that there are a lot of people putting it all together. There are a lot of people going, look at this, look at that, and putting all the data together. But on top of that is a lot of people doing fuck all, and a lot of people being blind and deliberately blind and not looking and not doing anything. And the people we rely on to do something are not doing anything. And it's the same, you know, it's like we the little person at the bottom gets blamed for it. You know, you're not recycling enough, and you need to do this and you need to do that. But the people higher up need to be doing something, because it's too big for just us to do our recycling. It's the same as how benefit cheats get scapegoated for the money that it appears that they're taking from the benefit system, but nobody looks at the tax avoiders. Nobody looks at the MPs that are claiming expenses on second homes. Nobody looks at those cheats. Let's all point at the benefit cheat. It's the same sort of thing. So we were talking about that earlier, about climate change. The just be, I may not have logged it, and it's not that important. I'm waiting. I was having to organise an ENT appointment for my throat, which is still uncomfortable. It's not desperate, but it's still uncomfortable. And I had Joe's virtual assistant, who lives in Quebec, working on it. And she said to me yesterday, she tried on Friday, and then she said to me, and she tried on Monday. Yesterday was Tuesday. She said to me yesterday, I haven't been able to get hold of the secretary. And I said to her, she said, I haven't been able to get hold of the secretary this morning, and that was at 3:00 in the afternoon here. And I said, don't worry, I think it's that you're in the wrong time zone, and there isn't anybody there. And then within 30 seconds, she said, I've got the secretary online. And she had to ask me some questions. She needed information. And then the secretary was trying to put the phone down, because she was obviously having to get the answers rather than having them to hand. And she's made me an appointment. I got an appointment next week sometime. So that's good. So that's done. I was talking to Jane about, because I always complain I can't join the Zoe, what's it called? I always call it a Zoe app, but it's not a Zoe app. Project, the Zoe project in France. And I get jealous of people that can. And Jane had done it for a few weeks and was talking about it. And we talked about it, and I'd thought about buying a continuous glucose monitor, just because I'm interested in looking, because it shows you can look on the app and it shows you what foods are spiking your sugar, or what's happening when your sugar's low. And I get, the thing is, I'm quite often aware that I've got a spike or a low. It's like I'm quite in touch with that. But I'm sort of intrigued. I like to know what's going on. I'm really nosy. So I've ordered a continuous glucose monitor, and they last 2 weeks. So I thought, well, that's enough for me, just 2 weeks of information. I don't need to have one all the time. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with that. It's quite interesting hearing her experience with Zoe. I think she was a little disappointed at things that, because they then send you back on Zoe, they send you back and recommend foods for you to eat rather than some of the food that you're eating. And so I think she was a bit disappointed that there were foods that she was eating that they didn't think she should. They eat healthily, so it wouldn't have been what they consider unhealthy food, but Zoe had a different idea to them of what healthy was. So I don't think they were too impressed with that. John spent the morning yesterday back in his old job of fiddling with the computer, because Mark's laptop had gone on ban, had stopped responding to commands about a week ago, and we'd got Rob coming on Thursday. And John said, well, why didn't you say I could look at it? So he spent the morning fiddling around, doing things. Mark's laptop was not happy for various reasons, and we were worried it had got a virus. And all of Mark's Canadian photos were on there and had not been taken off and put onto the external hard drive. So that was like, if you can get it going enough to be able to put the photos onto the external hard drive, that's all we need, because we can buy him a new laptop. So what did he do? The laptop did not like the external hard drive being plugged in, and the external hard drive wouldn't turn on, and it was like, oh God, we're not even going to be able to get the photos off. But Mark had I hadn't. I have one somewhere, but I couldn't find it. A USB pen drive, thumb drive, whatever they're called. And he put it on there. So all of Mark's photos are on there, which is a relief. I've ordered him a new laptop. But because of all the fiddling John did yesterday, this one's working. But it's very slow, and it's been very slow for a long time. And I've often said to him, it's maybe time to replace it. So he's got a new one coming next week. So, yeah, so it was quite a long morning for John. I think we let him have breakfast first. He started it before breakfast, but we let him have breakfast first, just as well, really. I think it was lunchtime by the time he finished. So that's it. We haven't got any visitors planned now. I've enjoyed them being here. I always enjoy them being here, but it's always, for me, it's always tiring. We had raclette on, they arrived on Wednesday at about 4 o'clock. No, they didn't. Today's Wednesday. They arrived on Monday at about 4 o'clock. And we had, I did raclette, but I didn't do it with charcuterie because Mark doesn't like charcuterie. So we had it with some chicken thighs and some salmon instead of charcuterie. And Mark went, oh, it's quite nice with this, isn't it? And I don't think he remembers, but he said that some time ago. So when I've done it, I think I did it for Claire and Etienne. And I did it without the charcuterie. I did it with chicken and salmon. And I think he said then, oh, I quite like it like that. So, but he forgets that he said that. So that's it, really. I'm talking like this because I'm aware that I'm protecting my throat still. But it's not been bad. It's not been as bad as it was last time. There's something wrong with it, but it's not as it was. So that's quite a relief because I just thought, oh God, if that goes, carries on getting worse, it's going to be really unpleasant whilst John and Jane are here. But it wasn't. It's there. I'm aware of it in the background, but it's not desperate. Not desperate. So yeah, lovely to have the rain. Very damp morning, and I don't think we've got any rain planned for today, which is a shame because we need to keep raining. Oh, that's what I was going to say. The chickens. I went to put the chickens to bed last night at 7, just before 7, because we were going to be out once, and it would be dark, and it's always best to have them closed away by the time it's dark. And I went down to put them away, and they were under the Bramley apple tree. I don't know what they were doing under there, and they came out of there and they were absolutely bedraggled. It was so funny. The hens have got little Mohican type bits here with their feathers. The feathers were soaked, and they just look so funny. That the chicken who's got feathers missing off her back where we've been treating it had got this big square patch of bare oven ready chicken, and they were soaked. And I was sort of thinking, well, you know where to go when it's raining. You go into the sheep shelter or into the other side. There's places you can go. But I think that they've not had that type of weather for so long that they got caught out. And I don't know what they did. It's very unusual for chickens putting up with being wet. They'll go in. They'll go in. The sheep, she would have gone in. Very unusual for them to stay out in it unless they have no choice. They did look cute. I thought, oh God, I wish I'd got the phone with me because they just looked bedraggled and cute. And they look slimmer because all their feathers have wetted down, so they look smaller. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, so I'm hoping for more rain in the next few days because that's not going to be enough. Better than nothing, but it's not going to be enough. Hoping for no more heat waves. Really do not want another heat wave. I've lost count of the heat waves that we've had. I'm sure it's 4 this year. I'm sure it's 4. I'm sure we had 1 in April, 1 in May, 1 in August, and then this one in September. I'm sure, but yeah, enough's enough. Oh, pardon me. Anyway, that's me done. That's your lot. And I don't know when I'll see you again. Been quite a gap, hasn't it, apart from the rain? It might be quite a gap again. Mark's been building, so if you go and look at his Tales from the Bunker vlog, you'll see what he's been making. something very different. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you have. Thanks for liking. Thanks for all your comments. Oh, thanks for coming back, David Ellis. I was going to send out a search party. And where is Catherine Hamlin? It's been gone a long time. Maybe she's gone. Maybe she's unsubscribed. I don't know. But she's missing in action as well. Bye.